Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's deep dive session. My name is Laura, and it's wonderful that you joined us. And since you're doing this, that means that we did everything right because we got your attention. And this is a very, very relevant part of today's topic, how to make sure that people actually show up to your party. We're going to focus on how to successfully place and promote your remote event. And before we start, I quickly want to run through the setup with you. I think most of you already know it by now. You see the chat function where you can easily just interact with each other, everybody with each other. And using the drop-down menu, you can choose whether you want to chat to the panelists or to all discussion participants. If you have a question to our experts or to me, then I would, please don't use the chat, use the separate Q&A function, because in there you also have the ability to upvote the questions that you like, so they will hop to the top of the list, and then we can focus on them a little bit better. And if your question is not answered as you expected it, or if you want to add something, just simply raise your hand or use this raise your hand button, and then we can promote you guys. And I'm always very happy to pull you into the discussion in person. So in case you want to do this, just be aware that this deep dive session is streamed on YouTube and also recorded. And that also for everybody else in general, just that you guys know. Yeah, well, up front, before we start, also very big thanks to Köln Business and Volksbank Köln-Bonn for supporting us on this. And yeah, let's hop right into the topic. When we're setting up events, physically ones or digital ones, doesn't matter how successfully they actually are, you all know it, in the end, it kind of always depends on the people who are around. So it's very essential to take the right action to make sure that you reach and convince the target group that you actually want. And that's just a little part of overall well thought marketing strategy. And luckily, we have a great expert joining us today on discussing what's the most relevant, or what's the best way to get the most out of your remote event. It's Ben Sofyani. He is the founder of Pirate Skills. So yes, another pirate. And you know what pirate means? It's always something crazy good. And Ben and his team, they conducted over 100 events in the past 4 years, focusing on growth marketing. So I am very happy that he is with us today. Welcome, Ben. Turn on your cam, turn on your mic, join me on this.
Hello, everybody.
Hi there.
How are you guys?
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm sitting like 10 meters below you, I think, right now.
You're actually sitting above me.
Oh, I am. So I'm also here in Cologne at Startplatz. Thank you very much for inviting me. Awesome.
Yes. So I already said a few words about you, Ben. Do you have anything to add? Anything we really need to know about you and Pirate Skills?
All right. So maybe some of you know me because I'm one of the people who went to every single Pirate Summit since like 11 or 12 years. I've been part of that big journey. And I had a couple of startups before I founded Pirate Skills. I consider Pirate Skills to be like startup number 8. And marketing just has been always like an end to an end to me, a means to an end of having successful projects, having businesses not screw up. But I always had also a deep passion about marketing. I studied psychology. And to me, like growth marketing is the perfect mixture of psychology, business, and IT. And this is where I feel at home.
Perfect. You know that we always also want to get to know our guest a little bit more personal. So we always start with a short, quick game. It's called the one or the other. So Ben, please do not explain anything. Just answer one or the other.
All right, I'll try.
So, is it gonna be coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee. Okay, me too. Yeah. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Definitely night owl.
Bit more topic focused, LinkedIn or Instagram?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Easy.
Pre-recorded or live?
Live. 100%. Yeah.
Okay. And are you a make or a buy person?
Make.
Okay.
I buy very little.
I just leave it like that. So more of a maker. Okay, that's good. Yeah, well, you just said it, that you clearly have this passion for marketing. You clearly have a passion for events and also for using events as a marketing tool. So now we're halfway through 2020. In my head, it still feels like we're stuck in March. On the other side, so many things, so much is going on. And when you look back the few past months, how did you guys experience, or how did you, how did the pandemic affect you, and how do you actually perceive the event industry right now?
So I remember that the last meetup was on the first Wednesday of March, and we were actually joking a little bit. I brought a cask of Corona, of Corona beer, to my last event, just like to say, okay, come on, let's just
do it
and live with it. And that was before, like, I don't know if you remember, but it was like March 13th when I really felt like everybody now got it. And that was the week right before everybody got it. And where we had our last event. And we had a good start of the year. We usually had one event every first Wednesday of the month. And then Corona came. And we usually have events here at Startplatz in Cologne. And we have, let's say, like 60 people most of the time sitting here at Startplatz, and we have like 20 to 30 people in the live stream every time. And we have luckily live streamed all of our meetups in the past like 2.5 years, I think. Live streamed, recorded, uploaded the slides to piratesheels.com if you want to check that out. And so we learned a lot already to like going remote, and we learned how to get people to the online event, because we only had like 50 to 60 seats comfortably here at Startplatz. Then we got a bit bored because now we had so much less work to do. You know, when you do offline events, it was like, geez, like if that's not happening, what are we going to do with our time? So I think in April we were like just doing one event, and then in May we decided, come on, let's just step on it. Let's just kick Corona in the butt and
increase frequency.
And just increase frequency from one event to 2 events per month. And it's still less work than before. Yeah, so we were lucky that our community is very digital friendly, and they all jumped on. The first live stream we had was marketing Corona survival. That was the topic. And we had 111 live stream viewers, and we never had so many. It was really fun.
Okay.
Great. So we were lucky. We had a great experience. Yes, we miss drinking rum together. Here's the bar of the rum bar that we usually have with our events, and we can't drink with anybody, and that's really sad. So you guys, at some point, you have to come and visit me here in Cologne, and we have to drink something together.
We'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. So, well, yeah, but you just said it. You were doing a lot of live events before. You're doing a mixture and a lot of digital ones now as well. And as you said, in the current past few months, probably more of the digital ones. Yep. And now when you're looking at remote events, I was just wondering, do you experience like any characteristic or anything that make these remote events especially hard or especially easy to promote them?
Yeah, in terms of promotion, it was a bit weird in the beginning, because people were always asking, like, is this going to be remote or is it going to be offline? Because it was always both. So once we made the commitment to go online only, in the beginning it was the question, should we do the event or not? After a couple of weeks, it was very clear. But after the commitment of, come on, let's just go online only, it became easier, because all of the communication was, it's not a meetup, it's an online meetup. The tickets are online live stream tickets. That made it a bit easier. Maybe as a first takeaway tip for people listening. Before we went online only, and in like the past 2.5 years, we always had a live stream ticket along to the online ticket. And we're not doing Zoom calls where you have to get invited. It's just free on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. So why have a ticket at all? Yeah. And that we just saw that when we introduced this, that people use it like as a reminder. We always send the slides and the video recordings afterwards. And when people sign up, they get that stuff if they opt into the newsletter. So we got like 30% more people registering and ending up in our CRM, yeah, just by having this live stream option. So this was a learning that we took from before and then really doubled down on during the Corona, when we went completely remote. And that made it easy for us because we already believed that ticketing, even though we are actually doing online only event without any restrictions for participations, that it works. And I would highly recommend doing that. Ask people to take a certain step of commitment. All of you registered on the PirateX page for this event, and you got the invite from Zoom. Yeah, and maybe some people are watching here on YouTube, maybe not. Yeah, but you want to give people this little step of commitment. And I actually really like the way you do it with just a simple form, name, email, consent, check. I do Eventbrite email, the Eventbrite ticketing process, because I really like the professional follow-up of Eventbrite. You receive an excellent email with a calendar event, you get a reminder a day before, you can customize those emails. And until today, the Meetup event platform, like on Eventbrite, the Eventbrite platform has the best performing email list that we have in our whole business for free events. That means if you register for Eventbrite, the event host is later allowed to write you a message, except if you opt out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when we send out an email to the 2,000 people who have visited our events so far, I think by now it's like 3,000, we get around 50 tickets sold just from the Eventbrite email, not even through our own newsletter. Yeah, and that is an excellent result every single month. So using proper ticketing and a ticketing tool that helps you to do that, that was at least one of the things that helped us to promote better.
There was a question from one of our participants coming back to the commitment. He said that the commitment is one thing, but how to make sure that commitment actually is a show up.
Yes, so you have to differentiate here between free and paid events. With paid events, zero problems. Yeah, you have a 90-95% show up rate, that's it. Yeah, no worries. But with free events, especially like webinars like this, how do you make sure that people show up? A couple of things. I'm a growth marketer.
Maybe you can say 3 things where you would say like these are the most important aspects.
Yeah. So, but before I can say the 3 things, you've got to learn how this mind is thinking. Yeah, I'm a growth marketer. I'm a very experiment data-driven guy. That means I need to know what's my baseline. How many people sign up? How many people show up right now? And I can tell you that the average for most people is 50%. Mm-hmm. Laura, do you know your show up rate for those events?
Today,
do you know how many people got a ticket here?
Yeah, it's 50% is actually pretty good. So the
for me, it's every time it's 50%.
And I think 50% is even quite good if you do it.
Yeah. For free events, especially if they're more frequent. Yeah, then the show up rate goes down. But now you can do 3 things to increase the show up rate. But if you don't know how your show up rate evolves, you can test a lot of shit and you don't know if it's becoming better or worse. Yeah. So first of all, send them an invitation email. Welcome, thank you very much. Attach a calendar event to it that has the link of the event in there and an alert. Then send a reminder email. We do this on the morning of the event usually. Yeah, if your event is in the morning, do it on the evening before. So a reminder email was really helpful. And there is one way that was actually too good. So we stopped doing it because it was a bit too annoying. We, in the very beginning, we messaged everybody who registered. Even the people who confirmed like a message, a normal Facebook or LinkedIn message. So, hey, thank you for registering. Hope to see you then. Yeah, just to get a conversation started. We had a 70% show up rate, like going from 50 straight to 70. It was so much that we didn't have enough space at Startplatz, and then we stopped it. We also observed that you could only do this with small events where you have people who are not always coming again and again. So you have to be careful that the last 3 messages that you send to that person is not, oh, thank you for registering. I hope you see you soon. Thank you for registering. Yeah, that kind of stuff. But sending a personal message, if that is appropriate in your business, and especially if you have small events, the show up rate goes through the roof.
Yeah,
that is highly efficient. Those are my favorites by far.
Personal attachment, super good. If you're talking about the reminders and like repeating, and I know that it's very relevant that if you want to bring across your message to stick in people's head, that you do it like repeatedly, but I always think it's very tough also to find the balance between pushing too much and over communicating. So
about that, a bit of a sad truth is that pushing more helps more. Yeah, you have to figure out for yourself what you want your brand to be perceived like. But there are 2 types of people, and they need to hear this lesson differently. They're the pushy people, and they need to stop it. Like if you're sending 7 reminders the 7 days before the events, that's just way too much. Yeah, a welcome email, and maybe at a maximum a 2-week interval, some messaging towards that event, and maybe 2 events in the week, 2 emails before the event is happening, in the week before the event. That I think is quite appropriate. You can do more, and I will tell you it will help you more. But again, how many unsubscribers are you going to collect with that? But why care about the show up rate so much? Yes, you should do the basics. You should do a professional sign up, but think about it this way. If 100 people sign up to your event and 50 people come, still 100 people are in your database. Yeah. And I'm like, I was like, yeah, I don't mind if people are not coming to Startplatz. I don't mind if they're watching on YouTube. They are still going to consume your content, and maybe at a later point, but I always say they become part of the matrix. Yeah, they now are in the content marketing loop. And your events over time, especially if you have repeated events, they are the best promotion for your upcoming events. So I don't mind.
Okay, we'll leave it like that so far. I come back to that later. So yeah, we talked about bringing across the message and repeating it, but now there are so many different ways how you can actually shout out your message. But before I push this question to you, Ben, I would like to know from our participants, when you guys are communicating or promoting your remote event, which channel do you actually prefer for promoting it? Like which social media channel? Is it Twitter? Is it LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or any other? I forgot. Is it email? Is it ads? Is it organic? Is it Messenger? Somebody doing WhatsApp? Super curious about the answers from that. Where are people supposed to answer those questions? Oh yeah, I see. In the poll, you're a panelist, you cannot. Oh, I can actually vote too. Then go for it. Let me go for one. No, I can't. Okay, so can we get the results? Would be really interesting to see. Oh, LinkedIn is quite on the top. Twitter, just a little bit. LinkedIn is the leader. Facebook after that, and some Facebook, same like others. And Instagram, not that much. Okay, well, LinkedIn is, yeah, Ben, do you want to give your answer? What's your favorite channel for promoting?
So I'm super surprised that LinkedIn got so high up there. Probably it's a bit of a bias because lots of people heard about this event from LinkedIn events, I guess. So we also do LinkedIn events since I think the last 6 or 7 events. And while the invitation process is really easy, the commitment to get a ticket is super low. We measure everything. Yeah, we try to see how many people do we get from Facebook, from meetup.com, from LinkedIn. Those 3 are my favorites, by the way. Facebook events, meetup.com, LinkedIn events.
Meetup.com.
Meetup.com is absolutely magic. I do not know. I had my ups and downs in relationship with the platform, but it's getting better and better. So meetup.com is a platform that not everybody is familiar with. If you go there, you can discover local events, but since the pandemic, they also are heavily inviting you to also push your online events there. That's great. It's a great development for the whole platform. And like clockwork, 60 new people discover my group, the Pirate Skills group, every month and join the meetup to hear about upcoming events. 60, like clockwork. I'm now at about 3,000 people in this meetup group, or 2,800 something. I was just there in the panel, and like 1,700 out of those people have signed up to get email updates about the events that I put there into Meetup. So Meetup is the only platform that completely works without any paid advertising to add to that. Yeah, LinkedIn works organically really well, and meetup.com works really well organically. So check it out if it makes sense for you, and it also makes sense in a B2B context. It makes sense in the developer context.
B2B, that's like one thing I wanted to get back to as well. For me, especially when looking at the B2B sector, I mean, it's always about knowing your target group and knowing how they behave online, right? And how to reach them best, to know where you actually reach them, because you know where they are. So for me, or for us, it seemed like the B2B sector, LinkedIn is quite the best way to reach the audience. But we're always speculating a little about how LinkedIn, how to do it the best way. Do you have like any tricks or hints, like using pictures where faces are on or something like that? Any experiences?
Yeah. So LinkedIn events really feel like it's still a feature being tested. It doesn't feel fully integrated into the LinkedIn experience. You notice that it's like if you try to find events, like it's even the events that you are saying that you want to attend, it's actually hard to find if you don't know where you have to go. So I feel they are still experimenting and not 100% committed to that feature. So what do I do to increase that? First of all, the invitation function for events is the best. Everybody in your team should invite their network to that event. That generates a notification similar to when somebody sends you a contact request, and you get notified. And I would say like from 400 invites, 150 people, 200 people accept that invitation. There is, at this moment in time, there is a high acceptance rate of events on LinkedIn. That will change because LinkedIn is becoming more and more also a platform where people are abusing the notification system a lot. Yeah, you get a lot of messages, notifications. It's getting really weird. Yeah, and that means the commitment of what it means that somebody is coming is becoming lower and lower. It's like Facebook. On Facebook, I always joke, saying that you're going to an event on Facebook is pretty much like saying, no, I'm not going. Right?
True that.
The only thing I count is the Eventbrite ticket. Yeah, that's the truth. So, so invitation on LinkedIn events is the first thing. Then sharing it on your page as opposed to sharing it on your team profiles as separate posts. That is important. Then using the feed under the event for the people who attended as reminders. Like there are comments under the event listing, and you can ask people to register for a ticket there, or send them reminders, or give them a little preview of the person that you're interviewing during the event. So start filling it with content.
Can I like squeeze in for a second? There is one question from our audience that it seems like you are still convinced of Facebook events. Is it like that? You just said like you're not.
I do. It's surprisingly, they still work, even in B2B. Facebook events has incredibly cheap content promotion. Yeah, and LinkedIn content promotion, it's super expensive. Yeah, right. You're not getting the tickets, especially for free events. It's just too expensive, except maybe in your niche it's working. Meetup, there is no promotion option, but Facebook, there is still the ad magic. There is Facebook and Instagram ads are still the place where I spend 80% of my money, even though I do primarily B2B, which is super weird. Organic Facebook, it has become trash. Like my posts don't get a lot of reach, but paying $10 to reach 1,000 people, easy. Super easy. Yeah. And so commit to a minimum budget of promoting your events on Facebook. Let's say $100. Yeah, per event. If you do one event per month, that is not a big commitment compared to all the effort you put into hosting that event. And it is not unlikely that 100 people for €100 will say, yes, I'm going to the event. And maybe 30, 40 people out of those are actually registering for a ticket, which is really decent. Like a €3 for a free ticket event to get a lead into your matrix. It's very much worth it.
And when we are coming back to Meetup, there was another question from one of our participants. I have made, or that person has made, the experience that many people actually join your Meetup group, but don't buy a ticket in the end. How is your conversion rate on Meetup, Ben?
Yeah, we noticed that with the offline events, because people RSVP, that's what it's called, to be going on the Meetup platform. When you RSVP to an event, you signal like, I want to go, but they didn't get the Eventbrite ticket. And that was the commitment step I wanted for people to actually come. So that was a bit of there's a bit of confusion on the platform there, because Meetup doesn't want to support Eventbrite ticketing. It's super weird. They have their own plans for the future. So just live with it. It's one of those things. It's a growing community, and I don't push Meetup in any way, and 60 people per month join. So I just take the organic push that happens there, and I don't mind if they don't get a ticket. Yeah, it's okay. I always respect the platforms for what they are, and I build my audience on the individual platforms. I don't feel the great need to always push them to pirateskills.com and to then convert them there. Yes, that is one of the goals I definitely have, but all of the platforms are going to penalize you for doing that. Yeah, because they want to LinkedIn wants to keep people on LinkedIn. If you put a link in any LinkedIn post, you won't get the same reach than without the link. So I usually put them in the comment section, for example.
Yeah, same. That's a good hint, though. We do that as well. When we're coming back to the money, you were just talking about that. And it's always like, I think one challenge is to choose the right channel. And on the other side, it's a very tough decision to decide on how much of your resources you actually invest in each of them. And when you and me were talking before, you gave me this lovely example. You said, Laura, just take €30 and I'll make you 6,000 hours of watch time out of it. So Ben, how? Tell us.
So we were discussing this, look, we are recording a video right now. Yeah, and it probably has a couple of distinct sections. I always plan my meetups in a way that I have 5 different parts. Yeah, we have a meetup that is maybe like 1.5 hours long, and we have a large Q&A at the end, and 4 main content sections, like a good article. Yeah, it has a bit of structure. So at the end of each meetup, which happens twice a month, I come out with 5 beautiful videos. One long one, yeah, and 5 cuts of those videos. And now I can put them on any platform that I like. One of the platforms that I really like is YouTube. And YouTube allows you to promote your own videos in your channel through Google Ads. And my experience has been that for every euro that I spend on promoting, that 3 hours of watch time happens on that video. That means people are actually spending real attention and time on your video. It's not just views, it's watch time. So I always put 30 euros on every video I publish on YouTube, just to get the ball rolling, especially with small channels. I only have 340 subscribers, but 170,000 minutes are being watched of my YouTube videos every month, because I put 30 euros on 10 videos per month. That is crazy. Yeah. So I can only highly recommend for people to look into that opportunity.
So when let's ask our participants, what's like, I mean, this is a little bit of a private question, but I mean, here it's all anonymous. So how much of your overall budget do you guys spend on marketing? Is it less than 20%? Is it 20 to 50% or even more?
Or less.
Or yeah, less than 20.
Oh yeah, you got the less than 20. Oh, I'm super curious what people are doing. I bet like 80% are saying, no, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to jinx it.
We'll see it. Wait, what would you say? Would you go for, you say more than 20 should be more than 20%?
I think it should be 20%.
20.
It should be 20.
Yeah,
20 is my number. I always think that 20% of revenue should be reinvestable in cost per acquisition to create that revenue. So
Okay,
let's see what the results are saying.
We get the results, and it's less than 20. 50% of our participants spend less than 20%. Well,
I would expect that.
Then it's the 20 and not that much less.
So 20 to 50%. I guess those are people who are also taking money for that event, charging money. But the real money is never the ticket for showing up. The real money is always in the follow-up of the events. This is why free events are even viable. The first 1.5 years, I didn't even consider that this might be a business opportunity. I just wanted to create a meetup for the community and nerd out about marketing. But people just kept on asking, dude, you talked about messenger bots. What can we do it together? Like, do you work as a freelancer or something? And they forced me into this business. So being an event host is an incredible opportunity to position your business and yourself as the networker, as the guy to go to if you have questions about X, whatever your event topic is. So that revenue, that's what I'm willing to spend 20% on. So if I make 400, 500K a year, I want to spend that kind of 20% on event marketing the next time.
And as you just said, especially when you're doing remote events, you're like we are doing it right now. Yeah, you're recording it. So you are actually creating a lot of content by yourself while actually producing the event. And as you already said, like, especially when you're doing an event series, this is really like the best way to show off your value, your purpose, your why you should actually come and join this event. So how would you say, what's the best thing to use this content to generate like a long-term effect on your product?
Okay. So making regular events was the best decision I've made, like in the past 5 years, business-wise, because it forced me to create content regularly. And that built up over time the credibility and the trust that people needed to become customers, to earn and really to deserve that trust that people put into you before they spend money with you. And events, especially if you do them regularly, You can't hide in front of a camera. You can't fake it if it's live. Yeah, you can always edit anything later, but life is life. When you get a question, it's how you answer it. And it really shows if you do have the expertise or not. And you better should, otherwise you should consider maybe going into another area. So the regularity and the authenticity of event, especially live events, they are a huge part of the contribution. The other thing is what happens with the content after the event. We already mentioned one part, not just having that event live. Here are 20 people attending right now in Zoom. And we don't know how many are on YouTube, but it's very easy to get for 30 euros, 1,000 further viewers a week after this event. So 20% are here live, 1,000 people for 30 euros in the week after the event. No problem at all. Yes, those 20 people here, they are the most committed. Thank you guys for showing up in music.
Yes.
No, it's awesome. Yeah, but you cannot undervalue the immense potential of reach after the event. So what I try to think is, how can I make the event content that I'm having evergreen? I don't want to make it about something that is seasonal, like Eastern 2020. I don't want to do this. I want people to get value out of this 12 months from now.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to build a content hamster wheel. I use the regular events to always try new ideas for content, but in the end, I'm looking for the 1, 2, 3 events that really help me to generate leads long term. And why should I always just create new stuff? That's my opinion.
That's a good one. Yes, absolutely. And I think even as you said it in the beginning, with the frequency, that gives us like so much content. And if it's even like you said it, like evergreen, perfect to stay in top of people's mind.
And you know that I put them on a learn management system afterwards. Yeah, I give people not only access like to the one event that we're watching right now, but how do I get to see all of the other Pirate X events that you already did? You did so many awesome deep dive sessions. Where can I find them?
On our website.
On your website, exactly. Like do that. Do exactly that.
Yeah,
That is perfect.
Yeah. There was one more question from our participants, coming back to the channels one more time. We were talking about a lot of different social media platforms, but what's the best way with a small event? Focus on one platform to promote it, or spend few money on a lot of different platforms? Any recommendation on that question?
Yeah, so small event, small budget, I guess. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I just assume that. Going on a lot of platforms makes sense because you always have this organic people who discover it and find it where you don't pay anything for it. And the more platforms you distribute it to, the more people will get to your event for free. That means organically. And then just choose one channel where you push paid advertising. Like for me, I chose Facebook ads because it has by far the best events integration, like easily by any platforms. They are totally committed to this feature, not like LinkedIn yet. Maybe they become better in the future.
Okay, I hope the question is answered. Otherwise, as I said in the beginning, raise your hand, join our discussion, and just hop in here with your video. And Ben, what did I want to come back to? When you are operating, actually operating your promotion strategy, then especially via online, as we just said, there are so many different channels, and I mean, a lot of them, especially on social media, is interactive. And if you push something, people expect a reaction from you. So it's also quite a lot of effort. Do you have how do you guys are a small team, how do you arrange your manpower so that you stay on top of all of this?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So we are a 4-people team. But there is mainly one person, Christina, who is doing all of the event promotion. Like I'm doing most of the paid promotion parts, she's growing into that, but all of the organic promotion, is going through Christina. And the way we organize that manpower, woman power, is that she invests 20 hours per week into content marketing. And I would say 20% of that is paid advertising. No, it's not paid advertising. It's specifically for event promotion. The rest can be the broad content marketing thing. Yeah, but 20% of those 20 hours are only committed to event promotion. We have developed just a list of everything that should be done in a month. Let's say you have a monthly event cycle. Then you decide, okay, how many posts can I do actually to promote this event? And you maybe decide on, come on, 2 per week, interesting content that is 8 slots that you have for that event.
Okay,
right?
got it.
The 8th slot is already taken because it's hopefully the live stream of your event.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 slot is taken because you have introduced the event. Hey, welcome, we have a new event lineup. Then you have speaker info, then you have a trailer, then you have a poll, getting questions into it beforehand. And you think about like, what are the 6 to 8 posts that I'm going to do? And you become creative about the formats that you're using. And then you just schedule it. Okay, it always goes out on Tuesday and Thursday, Monday or Friday, for example. And then you create a content calendar based on that publishing cycle. And you keep on repeating that month over month and hopefully becoming a little bit better and more engaging every month. And that is how we focus that manpower in terms of promotion. Then we have Ali in our team who's doing the video editing, because we cut our events into 5 segments. Yeah. And that again goes back to Christina, who publishes those events. And I guess she could also do the editing at some point, but Ali really likes to do that, so he's doing that.
Yeah, and it's a good strategy. And as you said, you have like this routine that you can optimize with every step that you take. There is one question from Shania, and she is saying, how far in advance to begin promotion for a paid event?
Yeah, 4 weeks. We do 4-week promotion cycles. So if it's a free event, 4 weeks, especially if you do like regular free events, you don't want to start too early. We actually list our events 3 to 6 months ahead. Yeah, that's, and then some people are joining, but the bulk of the ticket sales are happening in the 4 weeks before the event, I would say in the last 2 weeks. And I would also spend my budget that way. Start promoting maybe with like 30% of the budget in the first 2 weeks, and then the last 2 weeks of those 4 weeks, spend the 70% of that budget there.
Okay, there's like another question. Just 4 weeks, but
just 4 weeks, yeah. If you're doing a conference, of course you can go like half a year before that. But if you're doing a monthly event like I am, what are you supposed to do? Like, you can't talk about the event in 3 months. You have to talk about the one that is upcoming. So if you only have one event, think about your strategy. Why are you doing that to yourself? Do regular events. But if you only have one event, then go for 3 to 6 months easily.
Yeah, and we also experienced that, especially when you're doing remote events, that a lot of people just drop in at the day before the event. Yeah. Like so the time frame is really short. Yeah. I just see that we have one of our participants joining us as a panelist. Florian, did you raise your hand? Do you want to add something to this conversation? Happy to turn on your video, turn on your mic, and join us.
Sure.
Hi there. How you doing?
I'm very good, and you? I'm calling from east of Canada. It's actually the most east part of Canada.
Lovely.
So it's a place called Newfoundland. So anyway, I'm calling. So I'm a director of a center for entrepreneurship, and we do events for students, university students around entrepreneurship. And it's funny because we went from in-person events, recording the events, to virtual events with content and a little bit of networking. And now we begin to see some fatigue in terms of online contents. And we anticipate that in the fall, this fatigue gonna even worse because all students will do online content. So now we are thinking, I'm coming to my question, no worries. Now we are thinking to have more networking online and a little bit of content. But I wonder, what advices would you give us to increase the attendance and engagements for students?
Good question. Shall I take it or do you want to start, Laura?
You go.
Okay. So you're concerned about the fatigue, that people get overwhelmed by too many online events, too much content there. I think this happened a long time ago, the overwhelm of content, like a couple of years ago, when you consider like how many hours of YouTube content are uploaded every single second. It's no chance to consume anything. So our generation is already set up for filtering content, and I wouldn't worry about that too much. But engagement is a very important thing. We are doing two things to facilitate that. The first is the Slido engagement, or like you do here with Q&A sections, the chat, that kind of stuff, but real-time poll. We use a tool called slido.com for that. It is a very generous free tier. That is the first way to engage them. Then we want to keep that engagement live and active past the event. And we use a community like Discord. Discord is a chat software where you have something like Slack. Slack is also pretty known for like community building. Use something where people can come together and ask questions and connect afterwards. But please use something that you kind of own, like a Discord or a Slack is still something that you have pretty much control over, while like a Facebook or LinkedIn group, you have zero control over. It can work for you, but Mark Zuckerberg can take it away from you like that. Yeah, so be careful with that one. So real-time interaction, and then a platform for lasting connection afterwards.
Yeah, and I don't have a lot to add to it, but as you said, everything screams attention, attention, attention. So super important to put the purpose of your event in every message that you actually send.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome, Florian. Thank you so much for joining. We have a lot of other questions popping in here, Ben. Just like quickly coming back to the time frame, would you enlarge the time frame when it comes to a conference? Yes.
Definitely. Wow, 100%. If it's like, let's say we go for Pirate Summit promotion, I would start a year ahead.
Yeah, you start
not with paid advertising.
You start at the event.
Yeah, I would probably the first half year, I would completely go for organic email outreach, showing up speakers whenever a new speaker commits to the conference. I would make a big hype out of that. I would interview them for podcast sessions, so people get hyped up for the session that the speaker is in. Then half a year before the event, I would start the paid advertising.
But that's like live now. It's not remote.
Yeah, it can be live, it can be remote, but let's say it's a 300 to 500 euro ticket. People are actually needing to make a serious commitment to go there. Yeah, there you definitely want to start the promotion cycle a half a year before the event. And I would definitely go into a heavy advertising period in the beginning. Let's say you're doing it in June, you start in January with the promotion, and see if you can sell tickets profitably really early. Let's say you do Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads and you spend €1,000 and you're making about €8,000 back. Yeah, then you know you're spending about 10, 12 bucks per percent of your revenue. And that usually most event people can afford that easily to spend that on acquisition. If you find that you're profitable in the beginning, then you can scale up your marketing because it's profitable and you lucked out. You have an awesome event, an awesome audience, good targeting, congratulations. A lot of people are not doing that, and I'm completely weirded out by that. So give your paid advertising a decent shot in the beginning, and then just go parallel increase your organic marketing, the content marketing parts, and just push all of your content marketing with a little bit of ad budget. Every post should be receiving like $10, $20 that just support that. That's by far the most efficient way to spend your advertising dollars, not just the buy ticket events, not just buy ticket.
That was another question. Do you have some recommendations on some monetization strategies? But I think this is
on monetization strategies for events. That's different.
Okay.
No, I just
Not
talked about
spending your
spending
budget,
money,
but making money out of it.
And so monetization,
Yeah.
I think actually that you guys from Pirate X, that you are brilliant with monetizing your events. Maybe you can add something about your sponsorship experience.
Well, it's the same for us when we switched on, or same, but as you said, when we switched on remote, we decided to put the ticket prices, like, this is not like the main source where we earn money with,
yes.
but it's like the sponsorships, and it's very relevant. Even if you do physical events or if you do remote events, that you have like a trustworthy relationship between your sponsors, then they will always support you. And as we discussed in the beginning, especially when it comes to remote, the content is so important because there is not a lot of other things going on. So it's all about the content. So what we experience the most efficient one is also when you look at partnerships, that you do like a content for credits strategy. So that's what we're basically following.
Maybe I can add one more thing to that, Laura.
Go for it.
So I very consciously decided that I don't want to charge any money for the Pirate Skills meetups. It would have been very easy to just go for 5, 10 euro, 20 euro tickets here, and to just earn, maybe I invest €1,000, including the people, like Christina, the work she does, the advertising, maybe €1,000 per month for event promotion and for organizing that. And I might want that money back. Maybe 50 people would pay me $20. But maybe the psychologist shines through a little bit at this point. I think about it this way. If I would get the 20 euros, people would come with a higher expectation to the event. True. And they would actually think that this was an equal exchange of value. They gave me $20, I gave them some information. I don't even want them to consider that this was just worth $20. That is crazy to think about it. Yeah, I want them to think about, I just received €1,000 worth of consultations because I showed up. And yes, I want to give back to that person that gave me so much value. I want to become a client. I want to refer somebody, and that only works with free. It doesn't, you kill it with €5 per event ticket. So either do serious ticketing because you want the commitment. That is an awesome reason to take money. You want people only, you want only people who are committed. And you position it really decently, compared to the value that you're providing, or go free. That is just 2 cents I wanted to add, because lots of people are considering, should I charge $5 to $20 to that event?
It's a big issue. It's a big discussion, and we're always like,
don't, is my opinion. You're leaving too much value on the table. People think that was an equal exchange. Read a bit of Robert Cialdini. That he really helped me to understand that.
Don't put a price tag on it. Try.
Yeah.
There is one more thing about the time frame. This is a big issue. I think. What do you have like a tip for last minute marketing, like 1 or 2 days before the event?
Yep. So email is your friend. That again, ticketing solutions, they somehow, I feel like I'm allowed to write them an Eventbrite ticket, even though I'm not always feel like I'm allowed to send them through my own CRM, because they did not opt in to the newsletter, but they opted into the newsletter of Eventbrite. So your ticketing provider and that email system is your friend, your biggest friend by far. Then don't forget to use your own personal social reach to do that. Do a little live stream, like with your phone, be a day or 2 before the event, and tell people in a live stream that you have another planned live stream coming up. Live streams have by far the highest reach in any social network. They get ridiculous reach for what they are worth. Yeah, they are not better than a recorded video, but they get far more reach because the platform are just overvaluing them at the moment. Then what else would I do? You could do like the last 2 days, do a bit of push advertising, save some of that money that you plan to spend and spend it in the last 2 days for the people who are committed. What also has worked for me in the past is to ask friends to invite one friend, to come, especially with free events. And you can't do this like 4 weeks in advance. They won't do it. But 2 or 3 days before the event, come on. Who would be a really great fit to see this content? Please take that person with you.
That's a really good one. I like that. And I also think it's like, we also do it like that you already, even if the event started, you can still push it. Like, we're live now, don't miss it, come join us. So things like that. And I think even if you're doing remote events, this is people dropping in and dropping out all the time. So don't stop the promotion or use the content that is actually, that is happening right now to convince more people.
We actually have a checklist for Christina in which Facebook groups to share the live stream after it started. Like if you're on LinkedIn, there are so many groups where you can share this valuable content in, but you need somebody in your team. You can't do this being in front of the camera and sharing at the same time, it just doesn't work. But you have somebody and give them a checklist of where to share the live streams to. It's really great. And the LinkedIn hosts and the group admins, they appreciate it. If it's an actual live event that is valuable and free, they won't mind as much as normally. They hate when people spam events in their groups. Not for live streams.
Yeah. And one other question, and this is, that's something that comes up very often. How does my event become the event? How do I promote it to be the event? There are so many events coming up, and most of them have similar topics. So how do we become special? And I want to add like a little sentence. I was thinking, are there any secret events, Ben, that nobody talks about, but that are super efficient for us to stand out of this crowd?
Okay. Let me think about that one. So as a growth marketer, my mindset is not just get people to the event. It encompasses the whole customer journey. Yes, the whole customer journey. It's getting people to the event, showing actually up, having an engaged and awesome experience, referring other people to it, and then becoming loyal customers afterwards, or loyal attendees, and then repeating that cycle. That is my growth marketing mindset. Really being responsible for the whole customer life cycle, not just filling the funnel. And what helped us by far the most is every single event that we did so far, we had either a little physical piece of paper, or we asked them during the live stream, where we asked 3 questions. What did you particularly like about this specific events, not the Pirate Skills in general? What would you change to make it a better experience for yourself, or a more valuable experience? And how likely would you recommend this to a friend or colleague? The typical NPS score on a scale from 0 to 10.
Yeah.
And from those 3 questions, we study them religiously. We put them in a treasure chest. Yeah, we ask them like to put them in there. And we do the same on Slido online. Yeah. So there's no problem. Just the participation rate is much lower online than offline. I'm looking for 3 things to change from event to event. And I really try to commit to making this part of the future system, not just for one next event, but making that part of the process. And over time, you won't be able to help yourself but to become the go-to event for that audience, because you asked them, they answered, you listened, you applied. That is by far the most important one. That is in this section. And that should tell you that your past events are the best promotion for your future events. first level. Yeah, make an awesome event. That is the best way to become an awesome event.
Perfect. I think
Yeah.
that wraps it up perfectly in the end. And as you just said, look at promotion like event organizers do it with the event. Look at it as a journey and not like as a single action.
Yeah.
And I think that's perfect. Ben, closing question I always ask all my guests: are remote events here to stay? Yes or no?
Are remote events here to stay? I personally am seriously considering not doing offline events anymore, just going remote. It is so much fun. I love remote events. Maybe that's because if you really know me, you know me that I'm pretty introverted and that I like my time alone. It is so much less hassle to do online events. I will do offline events again, but less frequent.
Yeah.
More engaging, focused on what is only possible offline. Yeah, like the Florian said from Canada, connecting people, getting them to know, not just dumping information on them, but doing everything else that you can't do online. This is what offline is still good for. The rest will, I hope, move more and more online.
I'll take this as a yes. Thank you so much, Ben, for joining. We reached
Thank
the
you
end
for
of
having me.
this. Thank you. And as you just said, the market of remote events is growing, and the development of platform and functions grows with them. And we want to help you, and we want to help us to stay on top of this. So we're going to host a now it's already the third version of our demo session, where we invite 7 providers who pitch their tools, and you can ask your questions. It's always fun, it's interactive, it's fast. So you can join that one as well. Thank you so much for joining today. The demo session is July 23rd. And thanks again, Ben, for our conversation. And thanks everybody for being here today. You can, exactly, we already shared it. You can connect with Ben on LinkedIn, or as you just posted, what was that? YouTube. And then, yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me, Laura. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.